So as I showed in the last video, a lot of people on Twitter are mad at the thumbnail Mutahar used for his Keffals video, calling it transphobic, with some critics of Mutahar going so far with this idea that they end up becoming the bigoted ones themselves. Like with this comment from Mars Rovi that says, though alt-rightoids ideologically ERR and marrying non-Aryans like Semites, Latinx, and Sub-Saharan Africans, Muta and her are a fairly Aryan couple, and I believe Hitler would approve. Crash course on race theory follows. Amateur racists always screw up on this because they are culturally appropriating terms from noble German racism into vulgar American racism, aka, white is good, everything else is bad. Blonde hair and blue eyes are Nordic Aryans! But among the Aryans, we have diversity, our strength. They then say critical race theory in German, and then continue by saying, requires you to understand PIE, and the Aryan migrations. Some Afghanis, English, Celts, Iranians, Iran comes from Aryan, Japanese, honorary, and plenty of other brown hair, brown-eyed, even darker-skinned peoples like Italians are Aryan. Muta is Aryan because Brahmins are upper caste Indians from which the Indo-Aryan peoples derive. Arya is Sanskrit for noble. Though the NSDAP stance on this was Indians have intermixed too much to be pure Aryans, they nonetheless have Aryan blood. So while they may have been an interracial couple, Doejenggles married Muta because of his Aryan ancestry. This is proven when she talks about the 23andMe test she had him do before dating, where she found Vedic Aryan blood in him, i.e. founder Aryan. Her explanation of this means she follows NSDAP racialism, obviously a cultured woman. Indians such as Muta were immensely desirable in the Third Reich, though bigoted laymen misunderstand and stereotype German racism. Mutahar posts this insane comment onto his timeline and says, laughing my ass off. The Act Man responds by saying, some days I wish I didn't know how to read. Willie Mac Show says, what am I reading? Omni says, but that's just a theory. A race theory. Maury says, these people have to be trolling. Doejenggles responds with a smug Wojak. Justin Wang says, it's true. She told me she's really into your cast. Tebow responds with a picture of a burger saying, I agree. Nicholas Diorio says, these people should just admit they want to give drugs to little kids on Discord. So besides Mutahar making a thumbnail that people don't like, how the hell did this extremely racist comment even come to fruition? Well, for that we have to go back to a tweet we read in part 1, where PsychoCut quote tweets Mutahar, announcing the release of his Keffals video by saying, Mutahar is going to be dealing with the consequences of this video for several years. He will never be able to cleanse his audience of neo-Nazis after this. He is their home now. Nintendo Power 454 responds by saying, the comments on the video are vile. Maybe they will trigger some self-reflection. PsychoCut responds, he's not that smart unfortunately. Scourge responds by saying, I don't like Muta that much, but if y'all gonna do that now, how about you do this Keffals too? She's been shown not just now but in the past to a pathological liar. PsychoCut responds, so what? I lie all the time. It's fun. Jackie responds to PsychoCut by saying, I mean, he's right to bring attention to it. Keffals is an absolute fraud. PsychoCut then responds with this drawing of an angry guy saying to a younger girl, she was helping minors to get HRT! And then the girl responds, wow, while thinking based. Lucy Lucifer says, he's never going to have to accept any consequences. The consequences will fall on the trans community, emboldening his massive audience to be even more transphobic and hateful than they already are. That doesn't affect him. He doesn't care. PsychoCut responds, I mean, he's an India man with neo-Nazis in his audience from now on. I do not envy him. Rebel Scum says, Muta dating a neo-Nazi made him go completely off the rails. PsychoCut responds, oh shit, did he really? Rebel Scum responds, yup. Forget his girlfriend's handle, but she posts a lot of far-right conspiracy theories on here. PsychoCut responds, imagine having to become a fascist just to get pussy. Rebel Scum responds, exactly. And throwing everything you stand for away just for a relationship who hates you being a marginalized minority. PsychoCut then posts a picture of Doejenggles next to some caricatures, one labeled average woman and then a more ugly one being labeled average turf, and captions it by saying, holy shit. Rebel Scum responds by saying, she looks like she has had FFS recently or in the past. And for those of you who don't know, because I only found this out very recently, but FFS stands for, in this context, feminization facial surgery. Anyways, PsychoCut responds to Rebel Scum by saying, facial feminization surgery? She looks like she was in an accident. Rebel Scum responds, laughing my ass off, true. Doejenggles then starts responding to some of the tweets in this thread, starting with Rebel Scum claiming that her account is full of far-right conspiracy theories by saying, "Please, post them." Twilight Midna responds to Doejenggles by saying, "This person wants to talk about your looks." I'd absolutely find that as a compliment coming from them. Speaks volumes for their confidence. Doejenggles then responds with the profile pictures of Rebel Scum and Psycho Cuts and says, "The absolute state." Rebel Scum then screenshots that thread and says, "Holy shit." Doejenggles shows their reaction and says, basically says I'm a neo-Nazi, tries to shit on my looks. I ask for proof and reply with pics, blocks, cries about me posting their literal profile picture. You can't make this shit up. Jackson Clark responds by saying, "Did they really holy shit at you doing exactly what they did moments ago? Actual cartoon characters, lol." Doejenggles responds, "The projection is strong." The Ebony Maw responds by saying, "Yeah, I saw that. Bunch of pathetic mental cases." Azor responds by saying, "I mean, profile alone is a joke. Anarchist laughing my ass off." They then show that their bio reads out, 40-year-old anarchist non-binary trans woman. Hashtag trans rights are human rights. Blocked by Ethan Ralph and Andy Worski. Bad Empanada says, "Is your picture edited to look like a troll face?" Inzaburger quote tweets Psycho Cut, "Bruh, now people are attacking Muda's wife and making fun of her looks." Ike's Never Die responds by saying, "Maybe he shouldn't have married a neo-Nazi." Isenberger responds, "Once again, I am asking for proof." Ike then responds by saying okay and sharing a screenshot of Doejenggles making fun of Tipster by showing a picture of someone who looks like him in makeup and says, "Guys, I've always been this way deep down. Thanks to Clara, I can finally be myself. Thanks to Clara at Keffals." Doejenggles quote tweets them and says, "Making fun of Tipster who flip-flops constantly is based." Doejenggles continues tweeting about this when she says, "Far right, I'm a mud shark. Far left, I'm a neo-Nazi." Okay. Deaththink then responds with a picture of Black Hitler and says, "This you?" Doejenggles responds, "Literally me." Aki then says, "This you?" showing a tweet Doejenggles made last year where she says, "This is Tyler. He is 31 and now permanently disabled from the Pfizer jab. He cannot control his movements." And then a video is attached, but we don't know what it is. Doejenggles responds by saying, "Reload the context, coward." Ike responds, "Can't. You deleted the tweet when you deleted all the other alt-right tweets you posted." Doejenggles responds, "I don't delete. Try again." CBs responds by saying, "Literally, it's still here. Just search the first 3 words, laughing my ass off." This is clearly a meme post, showing that the Doejenggles tweet we read out earlier had a video of Ninja Fortnite dancing in Times Square attached to it. CBs continues by saying, "Right. But you were making the accusation of her being alt-right, so you have to provide the evidence or else your accusation is pointless and speculation. I could accuse you of being a neo-Nazi and have the same amount of evidence you have right now." Ike responds, "Okay, here's her supporting child abuse." They then show a screenshot of a Twitter conversation they just had with her, where Doejenggles says, "No HRT for minors, especially do it yourself," with Shotokan on the box. No, that's not healthcare. Ike responds, "No HRT for minors? So you were saying trans kids should be tortured through the wrong puberty, and you still don't think you're a transphobe?" Doejenggles responds, "Nope. Not until they are of age. They should have other types of healthcare to ensure their well-being, but not HRT as a minor. No." CBs responds, "Not even vaguely child abuse, lol. Children shouldn't be on any kind of long-term medications like that, unless unavoidable for their health. Way to make light of child abuse through to push your own warped narrative." Idiot Loser says, "What's your statement on yours and your husband's fans/orbiters behavior? Death threats, sending gore, etc, etc. Remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and you were supposedly the morally righteous ones. Do you have no responsibility?" Damper responds, "Who's gonna tell him that people are responsible for their own actions? If you could put your actions on the responsibility of others, I could just go on a murder spree and blame it on someone I follow on Twitter. It's their fault. They actually did it through me." Idiot Loser responds, "False equivalence. I can't really engage with this level of cloudy logic. Good luck to you though." Doejenggles quote tweets Idiot Loser and says, "You mean like the death threats I've received for 3 years as well, or?" Idiot Loser responds, "Right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So, what do you have to say to your fans?" Doe responds, "Bold of you to assume I have fans. No one is responsible for their audience. I'm simply stating I can't be both a Nazi and race traitor. Read! Idiot Loser responds, you were complaining about something someone else's fans said, yet whoever orbits you for clout or whatever are being equally nasty. You were supposed to be on the right side here, so I'm just a little confused on how you can just ignore the nasty stuff in your camp. Doejenggles responds, you have no idea how much I've ignored for years. I made an observation. If you don't get that I'm showing you that it's impossible to be both, I'm sorry. You lack basic statement understanding. Devil's Advocate tweets out the conversation that Psycho Cut and Rebel Scum had about Mutahar's wife, and captions it by saying, after harassing the thumbnail artist into deleting his account, Keffals fans moved on to his wife. Worded it weirdly, with his wife, I meant Muta's wife. Pig Cake responds by showing the profile picture of Rebel Scum and saying, always the same look with these types, huh? Corey says, waiting for that timeline where Keffals gets what's coming to her. ETC Vipery Day says, anything but the content of the video itself. It's because they can't! Mutahar quote tweets Devil's Advocate's tweet, showing the conversation between Rebel Scum and Psycho Cut, and comments on it by saying, crapping on my wife is just an incredibly weird move. Jen is the furthest thing from a neo-Nazi, and has been the greatest support for me. She's nothing short of the prettiest and smartest person I've ever been with. Childish behavior. Camelcast responds by saying, these people in replies just say a random accusation, and people respond, he did? For real? And just believe the random reply. Social media is cancer. Willie Mac Show says, holy shit, you're married? Congratulations. Tupacabra says, they always say Nazi! Then change it to far right as soon as someone asks for receipts. Ellie Cuvas says, you and your wife are some of the most amazing, kind-hearted, hardworking people I have met. We have your back till the end of times. Sensitive Society says, I hate when people bring others' significant others for internet points. These Twitter losers need to go outside and touch some grass. Psycho quote tweets Mutahar and says, your fans are sending me gore videos of trans women being murdered. But sure, sorry I said your wife looks like a troll doll. That must be so hard for you. They then show DMs of people saying, you people have made an unwinnable fight for yourself, and now you will reap what you sow. Someone sending a photo, someone sending a video, and then someone sending a video with the caption, tranny murdered in Peru. Keffals responds by saying, I'm sorry you are dealing with this. This is why I haven't engaged at all, because I've been dealing with this exact thing for days now. Psycho Cut responds, they are frothing at the mouth for a response. They want nothing more but more drama, more reason to harass trans people, but they have no love in their lives. They then show someone called Route Clout quote tweeting Keffals and saying, it has barely even been 2 days. This sympathy ploy bullshit is annoying. Address the content of the video. Keffals responds, I already made my intentions clear, that I retired from the YouTube drama space, and I have no intention of relitigating 2-year-old drama because a gamer with big sub count thinks I owe him my time or attention. Joe says, Keffals take accountability for literally fucking anything challenge. Jules says, what you owe is 100k back to your former community. Zippity shows these tweets from Psycho Cut that say, so what? I lie all the time. It's fun. I lie on here all the time to spark discourse that interests me. And it took them this long to catch on? I just lie. Just lie. I do it all the time. Lying is a morally neutral act. I do it all the time. Most my posts are lies. Nicholas Diorio shows Keffals' tweet and says, you scammed people for $100,000 and went on a shopping spree. The Warrior of Light responds, and cocaine, and meth. Don't forget that. James Earl Cash says, meanwhile, they are crying about this drama in their secret Discord, planning on getting dirt and trying to dox their enemies. Glad to see Tipster is approving of his online mommy's actions. Chris the Narc quote tweets Nick and says, anyone that still supports this person supports a scammer and liar. Nicholas Diorio continues tweeting about the situation when he says, Muta's video really needed a 30-minute segment on HRT legislation, so I can ethically criticize Keffals for her well-documented relationship to Bob Posting's HRT pink-pilling directory and scamming people for the $100,000 shopping spree. He then makes another tweet where he shows some Tipster tweets and says, golly gee Tipster, I have no idea where people got that idea. This first tweet is Tipster saying, the problem is these people view gender-affirming care for minors as grooming, and completely unacceptable under all circumstances. They have no idea how life-saving gender-affirming care is, and don't care to learn about it. And then the next image Nick shows, is a tweet from Keffals on July 27th, 2021, saying, "I'm gonna transgender your children. Try to stop me, bitch." Now, Twitter wasn't the only place going completely nutso, as Nicholas Diorio posted a glimpse into how Reddit is reacting to all of this when he shared a screenshot of this post on r/YouTube drama titled, "Mutahar's wife, co-host of the Real Sickos podcast, just openly replying and talking positively to a bunch of transphobic people and threads on her timeline." Leader Gorilla responds to this post by saying, "Right-wing reactionary bigotry, or breadtube leftist. Which way, popular drama tuber channel?" AB2D responds, "What's wrong with what she says? I thought everyone agrees it's not okay to give any sort of trans medicine to a minor without any supervision." Disastrous AD responds, "There is no such thing as trans medicine, firstly. One of the overlooked casualties of stigmatizing and potentially outlawing medication like puberty blockers and HRT are the cisgender people who need those for things like hormone imbalances. Medicine is just medicine. Secondly, the idea that trans advocates want to give children HRT is false and propagated by anti-trans folks. The only medicine trans minors are allowed are puberty blockers, which are entirely safe, and used on cis minors as well, and only effect is delaying puberty, avoiding potentially deadly dysphoria. If you take that one thing she's saying on its face, sure, she isn't saying anything wrong, but combined with all the other blatantly transphobic shit she's engaging in, and with the added context above, it's pretty obvious where her intentions are." Miss Lady Llama Drama responds, "Do you think doctors are just throwing boxes of HRT at minors and saying good luck? Let's just clear this up. No one is giving minors sex reassignment surgery, no one is forcing their kid to be trans, and no one is giving kids HRT without educating them and their families on how it works and how to safely take it. All that shit is just made up by transphobes to use kids as an excuse for their bigotry, like every bigot does, because they know the easiest way to validate their bullshit to reactionaries like you and this woman is to convince them that their bigotry has anything to do with protecting kids. Racists do it, sexists do it, homophobes do it, and transphobes are probably the worst about doing it. The reality is that the best thing for kids is for people to stop letting their hatred and discrimination infect the minds of kids by regurgitating all this factually untrue bullshit against marginalized communities so they can pretend their bigotry has any real legitimacy." Nick shares more Reddit comments and captions these next ones by saying, "Doe tweeting at Nick Diorio proves Muta's video was a transphobic hit piece." This first comment is from DB Peanut, who says, "It's really weird how she's chosen to insert herself into this, which, in my opinion, confirms that Muta's video is a transphobic hit piece, which is weird because you don't even need to do anything extra to expose Keffals. And before anyone says partners don't dictate what you believe in, you only date people who you are accepting of their beliefs. Wild timeline we live in, though." Dead Meat responds by saying, "Yeah, I genuinely don't know why either of them even involved themselves in this in the first place, begging Muta to just keep talking about tech, or his fake/misinformed dark web videos at this point." DB Peanut responds, "Cat's out of the bag. Wouldn't watch him now even if he went back to his old content. He's clearly harboring transphobic views / supportive of it, and he's an unreliable narrator even on someone like Keffals. Because whenever he gets critiqued, he pulls a Mama Max and accuses them of being a groomer, which explains why he was cool with Mama Max for so long." Dead Meat responds, 100% agree with you. Nick shares these next set of Reddit comments with the caption, "Why is she claiming there is Shotokan on the DIY HRT box? Because she's transphobic. Wait, yeah, there are skeletons here." The first Reddit comment he shows comes from Altruistic Deal, who says, "I'm sorry, why is this bitch claiming there's Shotokan on a box of HRT?" Coffee VGC then responds, "She's a transphobe." Murlot01 responds by saying, "It's likely in reference to Okono Pharmaceuticals, a controversial DIY HRT seller. OTK Pharma is controversial, as while their products are apparently of very high quality, the packaging and overall branding is very cringe. Anime characters on the box, keep out of reach from parents. OTK Pharma is listed on the DIY HRT directory, which Keffals promoted. So in the part where Muta condemns DIY HRT in the directory, he goes over OTK Pharma and calls them out for the packaging. Altruistic Deal responds by saying, having anime girls on their packaging doesn't indicate that there's pedophilia involved. Just look at their site. Worst thing I saw was a girl from an incest anime. But she's very popular in the anime core community and other cutesy anime niches. Merlot1 responds by saying, they maybe have changed the branding, I hope at least, but to be clear, this is the box that most people had a problem with a while ago. Though, to be honest, the silver rainbowish main color slaps. Sweetheart Scum responds, oh yeah, that's fucking weird. And then Altruistic Deal says, I see. Yeah, that is a little, odd. By the way, I wasn't referring to your comment when I said something about pedophilia not being involved. I was talking about Muta's wife. And that is about it for everything in regards to people roping Mutahar's wife into a discussion about a thumbnail that is just a drawn, sweatier, uglier looking version of Keffals. Yeah, this drama has gone in wild directions, and if you don't know where to start, I recommend watching the previous video I uploaded, as it explains everything that I talked about in this video. If you want to keep up to date with all this Twitter drama, don't forget to subscribe to this channel with notifications on. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. If you'd like to hear my thoughts, I have them up on my other channel that you can check out right now. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.